So let's switch gears again and talk about our final topic of the night, going into full spoilers for The Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 2. Man, this episode was so intense in a lot of different ways. Like, there were happy moments, there were sad moments, there were moments that made me super angry, and I just love the writing of this show. Like, the writers, the showrunners are doing such an incredible job with this show, bro. So, Vash, I want to start with you. What were your general thoughts on The Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 2?
Yes, Nova. Now to the main event because we're here.
Yes, sir.
I love this episode. This episode was amazing. I was just waiting for Bucky and Sam to finally come together. I can't wait to ask James when we talk about Isaiah because Ray and James were talking in the group chat talking about Isaiah. I'm like, oh, he's they're excited for him. I guess he's a bigger character than he is. I thought he was just like, hey, another black dude sidekick with the white dude Captain America. That's what I thought. It's a joke in my head. I'm like, oh, Steve Rogers with Sam, just like another sidekick. But no, I guess Isaiah is another big character from the comics that I did not know about. I knew about this Captain America from the comics. I know about him. So, but I don't know nothing about Isaiah. So I'm like, okay, cool. Can't wait to find out information about him. But Sam and Bucky have the most right to be. And this new Captain America go fuck himself because he was a dick in this episode, which is the point. We are supposed to dislike him. That's the writing that should be because we are not supposed to like this new guy. And he acts like he knows that he's not supposed to be Steve Rogers. He knows he's not supposed to be replacing it. He knows that he's supposed to continue the legacy. But you knew that he's being uptight about it is once he picks up Bucky from the cops. When he picks Bucky out from the precinct, he knew and told them, if you're not gonna join me, stay out of my way. That's when you knew, like, this power's going over to your head. This title's going over your head, my dude. And that's when Sam and Bucky's like, yo, I want you to take that shield. Next episode, yeah, better take that fucking shield because I'm about to go to the screen and smack this dude's head.
Yeah, man. Like, John Walker pisses me off. Like, he is what the military wants to be Captain America, right? Like, remembering the first Avenger, John Walker is essentially Gilmore Hodge. He is physically perfect to be Captain America. He passes all the aptitude tests, all of that crap, right? But Dr. Erskine, his whole thing was finding a good man. What makes Captain America is the heart, what's inside, the drive to want to save people. And these are just soldiers, and he's a fucking asshole, and I hate every moment that he's on screen. But let's start at the beginning, and we'll work our way all the way through the episode.
Let's go.
But at the beginning of the episode, we get a new rendition of the song, Captain America's theme, the Star-Spangled Man with a Plan, when he comes out to the marching band doing these press interviews, talking about being the new Captain America. And I hate him. I hate him so much. I hate that they use Captain America's theme for this new guy out of nowhere. That really, really pissed me off. Watching Bucky sitting on his floor in his apartment, watching the news broadcast of this dude claiming to be Captain America with the shield. Like, it pissed me off. Like, what did you think about the beginning of the episode?
I felt like Bucky was about throw a pillow or throw something to the screen, but I'm like, wait, this man get the most minimum of minimum. I don't think he wants to break the screen, so I'm like, maybe that's why he didn't do anything to his TV and everything. But I knew this dude was mad, like his face, and like Sebastian Stan, great actor to just know how to stay. Like, staring is a hard thing, but know how to do it well and do it on screen. Like, he does a great job because it shows that frustration, like that tension in his face, just staring. It's like, wow, you mad, dude. So, but the line he said to the TV reporter, he said, I never knew Cap, but I felt like I was always with him. And I'm like, boy,
Fuck you.
But you just said that you never met him, you never knew him, but you watched over his career of the Avengers, and then you said it's like you always knew him. I'm like, so that means every white kid that watched Captain America technically knew him because they probably had him as an inspiration. What?
Like, I'm completely okay with him being inspiration. with Captain America being inspiration for him wanting to become the type of soldier that he is. And yeah, Rob, the way he was tossing the shield around, I thought he already had a version of the super soldier serum, but we'll talk about that later on in the episode. But he doesn't have the super soldier serum yet. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that's going to come about. Will it be from the power broker? Like, will it be something from the military? Because we know that Thunderbolt Ross has been working on a new super soldier serum for years. And so it's like, what is he going to do? So I don't know.
I'm shocked. No, not shocked. Well, I will hold that to what I was about to say in a few. But he was throwing that shield very aggressively. I want to add, like, he was throwing that shit with a lot of anger, like a lot of toss. He was like, I'm like, damn, dude, you have anger problems.
To Nova's point, like, I'm also kind of confused of the timeline in that moment, because the way he's throwing the shield, it's like he's had practice, or maybe he was using like a test one for training, and then when he actually got the shield, he got to use it like actually get to use the shield in training. I don't know, Nova. That's a great question. I would have to like rewatch the episode to like
because from what we know in the timeline of the series, we know that WandaVision happened 2 weeks after Endgame, and we know that Falcon the Winter Soldier happened 3 months after. But from what we know within the series of the first and second episode, Falcon Sam gave up the shield, but we don't know how long after he gave up the shield he got it. We don't know how long that he's been training with it. So it's like,
I mean, just a couple days. Because I mean, when you look at episode 1, he gives the shield to the government, and then he goes to visit his sister. He goes to the bank. He does all of these different things.
So it made it 2 days
and then he
fast,
goes
right?
home. He watches the news, and now John Walker has the shield. So at max, I would say like 2 days. Like,
and we know the government is quick with stuff. We know the government is quick in our life, and we know comics life. So maybe they'll say, all right, cool, he's to give it back to us. Let's go give it to you, and you start training. I'm like, damn, training in 2 days? But like, maybe he's been like, when the news reporter asks, like, you have a perfect record, so like, he's in good shape and everything. But like, for you to train with a shield like that must take months or weeks for Steve Rogers to even know how to handle that. Like, he even got better with it over the years. But for you to just know how to be aggressively throwing it back to you and to bringing it back to your arm, like, there's no way that the government had this plan already. There's no way that they just
yeah. They were training. They had this guy prepped and ready to take over as a new Captain America. And John, I don't actually think it was like they had any like test vibranium shields, but like they had other prototypes that I'm sure they could have made to prepare John for whenever they get the shield, because I think the government was manipulating Sam at some point into giving up the shield. Like, I'm pretty sure Nova said that in the last episode, that they were kind of manipulating him into giving up the shield. So it really pisses me off to see that happened, man. Like, it just gets on my nerves. But this entire episode was a complete roller coaster of emotions.
Because I love how Bucky throughout the whole episode kept questioning, like, why did he give up the shield? Why did he give up the shield? And I love again, I do apologize for skipping, but I love how in a therapy scene, he questioned him, why did he give up the shield? Because if you give up the shield and Steve believe in you, and if Steve believe in you and you give up the shield that easily, what happened if he was wrong with me? That scene, that line was impactful, because Bucky, that line, that means that has been eating him up. He feels like he's not worth it, because he feels like that he's not gonna make it as some type of civilian. Because if Sam could just give up the shield that easily, then that means our friend Bucky here could just be a normal person and would not be the same without Steve. It shows.
Yeah, I really, really love that moment of him just telling Sam, like, he chose to give you the shield for a reason. He thought that you were the right person to be the symbol, and if you're not the right person, if Cap didn't make the right decision about you, then who says that he's right about me? And sad. It's like, it just shows that Bucky's going through so much types of trauma. Just him trying to get himself back to the world, him trying to live up to the expectations of his best friend, and trying to pretty much just continue the legacy of Captain America. So he just feels like there's so much pressure on him to be a better person. You know what I mean? And it's forcing him to heal even faster.
But James, I do want to ask, how did you feel that the writers or Sam did not say the words to Bucky, saying that, like, because he said it, like, you and Steve will never understand why I had to give up the shield because, you know, he's black and everything. How did you feel that they implied it but didn't explicitly say it? How did you feel about that? Or do you think they're saving it more for a later conversation about it more in details?
Can you expound on that a little bit more? Like, what do you mean?
Because Sam said it. Sam said it to Bucky that you and Steve would never understand why I had to give up the shield. In a way, he meant this because he's black and the States of America would never, you know, accept a black Captain America. So they didn't really explicitly say those lines. They more implied it. But what I'm asking is, like, do you think they're gonna have the conversation more in detail later down the road within episode 3, 4, 5, or 6, or do you think they would just want to imply it instead of saying it more explicitly?
Nah, I definitely think they'll get into it, and there's some other things that happen in this episode that definitely makes me believe we're definitely gonna get into that subject matter. But I think that's definitely one aspect of why he gave up the shield. And I think another part of it is that he just didn't think as a man, period, that he was the right symbol of America. He didn't feel like he was the right person to be this symbol and essentially become a Captain America replacement. I just think that he didn't feel worthy to the legacy of Steve Rogers. So I think that's more of why he gave it up. And to Nova's point, like, this also gives that moment in Endgame more meaning for me because, yeah, what if Cap and Bucky already had this conversation that when Cap retires and moves on, to give the shield to Sam, that Sam is the right person to give the shield to because Bucky has so many mental issues, emotional issues that he has to deal with at the moment, that Sam is the right symbol of hope that America needs going forward. And knowing that information, it pisses me off even more that he gave up the shield, but I get it. It's so much responsibility. Instantly with that shield, the entire world, especially the United States, sees you as one specific symbol.
And what Sam just brought it up, especially when the scene of the boys in the neighborhood calling him Black Falcon. And then I love what I love when Sam told the kid, like, so are you a black kid then? Like, that was beautiful because it was very true. Like, hey, so if I'm Black Falcon because I'm black and I am Falcon, so that means that you black kid. And I love how the kids still go quiet because Sam put him in his place because it's something that he should not be called Black Falcon. He's just no other Falcon. He's just Falcon.
Just Falcon.
That's it. So I love that was said. It's beautiful, and I love how Bucky knew about another person as a with the serum of the super soldier, but he kept it quiet because they had him in jail for another 30 years. That's freaking why, and show the government's fuck up.
Yeah, we'll get there. I love the interactions between Sam and Bucky. Like, I love how this show is just paying, like, homage to, like, Winter Soldier and the other Avengers movies. Like, when Bucky asks, like, when he asks Falcon if he has a plan and Sam just jumps out of the plane. It's very Cap and Iron Man-esque from the first Avengers movie. Yes. I absolutely love that. I love when Bucky brings up, when Sam brings up the big three, aliens, androids, and wizards, and then Bucky is like, "What are you, Gandalf now?" And then he talks about, like, "Yeah, I read The Hobbit in 1937 when it first came out." I love that joke.
But it's so weird to hear when we're anime manga geeks as well, and when we hear Big Three, I usually hear Big Three as Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, and then when I hear Big Three as, like, of their version of Marvel, so, like, I guess, but technically Big Three involves Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach, but if you want to put that for you guys, sure, that's your new version of Big Three.
Yeah, and like Nova said, like, I love the interaction later on, like when Sam calls him White Panther, and Bucky corrects him, like, no, it's actually White Wolf, and he's all pissed off that he didn't get a Wakanda nickname. It's like, dude, I'm black. I should have gotten a nickname in Wakanda.
That is true, but I hope they start calling him White Wolf. Like, I'm happy the show is called Falcon the Winter Soldier, but I hope in the show he's called White Wolf because that'd be interesting. because he got also that in the comics and everything. So I hope we get the White Wolf name like branded for Bucky.
I want him to keep Winter Soldier. I want him to change. I want him to change what that name means.
I see.
Much like My Hero with like Deku, he wanted to change what the word Deku means.
I see.
So
what
that
you mean,
means a lot. That means a lot to me. I don't care either way. I would love White Wolf. I think it's a little too on the nose, a little bit, but it's just like either way, I'll be happy with it, honestly. And I love in this episode that we find out that all of the Flag Smashers have the Super Soldier Serum in them. So it's like, where did they get it from? Did they steal it from the Power Broker? Did the Power Broker give it to them, even though the Flag Smashers are still technically stealing resources from him? Like, I'm very curious to see how that's gonna go. I love that the world is essentially, the people in Europe, I should say, see the Flag Smashers as like different versions of Robin Hood. They're freedom fighters. They are taking from the rich. They're taking from these government organizations and giving back to these people who don't have anything after everyone came back from the blip. So I love that they're not just this one single evil person. I love that they're not just this group of evil people, but they're actually people fighting for freedom. And in a world where they weren't superheroes, they took the Super Soldier Serum so that they can have the abilities to fight for freedom for themselves. So I love that. What did you think?
I love the meaning. I love their motto. One world, one people. It's beautiful because I was hoping to not have a weak villain for a show of Marvel. You know Marvel doesn't have the best villain reputation.
Sometimes, yeah.
So I was very happy that they actually have a motto. These people have personalities. These people have a meaning. These people have a purpose as being bad guys. They say one world, one people. I was like, all right. Cool, and that makes sense for the hand, for the world, in the symbol of the palm, so it makes sense. It's beautiful, impactful, and it also has a meaning, because they said that because of the GCD, that people with the blip are more important now because they need to fix the whole citizenship, so security, like, that's real shit. Yeah. But then the people in the back burner are less important now, so I'm like, that's a real issue in the world, so understandable why they want to put it as one world, one people, beautiful. But damn, they kicked the asses of Sam, Bucky, and the new Captain America and everything. They kicked their asses. I was like,
don't you dare call him Captain America. He is John Walker, or U.S. agent. Don't you dare give him that title.
In the meantime, okay, sorry, John Walker. But still, they got their asses handed to them, and
they got their asses whooped, bro.
Yeah, and I love how the scene with Sam and Bucky, they didn't want to hop on the car. I'm like, yeah, don't hop on the car. Just continue walking. And John's like, yo, guys, it's like 40 miles from here. And then John Walker had to say some shit, Isaiah too, and they just say, it's always the last words. It's always the last words. I was like, yes. People always have the most stupidest last words and just get off the car. Just start walking. I was like, yes. Yeah.
Nova, thank you for that. F's in chat for Red Wing. Red Wing got destroyed in this episode. I was so sad.
And Bucky was so happy.
He's like, one that's not controlled by the government.
Yo, Bucky was like, always wanted to do that. Thank you. I'm like, damn, you mean.
Nova, to your point, who do I think the Power Broker is? I don't know. With the MCU, it could go so many different ways. It could be the actual Power Broker from the comics. They could find a way to make Zemo the Power Broker. I think that would be really cool.
I don't think so.
It would be interesting to see Thunderbolt Ross potentially be the Power Broker. It could go a couple different ways. I haven't locked down an option yet. Like I'll keep watching the show to see where it goes. Chief just brought up Battlestar, bro. I'm so glad that they brought Battlestar into this. I thought
so. Who's this? Dope. So who's this? Tell me about it. Like, without spoiling me, like, who's Battlestar? Isaiah? Who's this guy? Like, because you and Ray kept saying in the group chat.
Well, we were talking about Isaiah, but Battlestar is a different character. But Battlestar works with U.S. Agent, so it's just like I want you to look it up. I want you to look it up for yourself after the show.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it for you because I feel like the MCU is going to do something completely different, and I don't want to give you ideas.
Oh, no, that's fine. Like, I read the comics about Spider-Man and other characters, Iron Man, and I'm not been disappointed. It's like what John Schnepp always have said is these films and movies and these type of TV shows are always their what-if universe. Is what they take inspiration from the shows and the comics, so they bring it into their own type of reality. So if I read it and see it like, oh, that's dope, but they don't do it, all right, cool, that's fine, no problem, no biggie. So, but Zemo, I see Abe talking about Zemo, hella hype for Zemo, and Sam was like, all right, we're going to see Zemo himself. So it's like it's very intriguing to know where he is and how they're gonna get to the conversation because they don't work for the government. They're like taking a free agent. They're freelancers. So I'm curious to know: are they gonna need permission? Are they gonna need to go with John Walker to have permission to go speak to him? So I'm really curious to know. And with the whole super soldier, I'm really curious to know, like, does he know about this? Is he gonna try to swindle Bucky? How's Bucky gonna handle this whole conversation? So I'm really curious to know about this.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a sec. Like Nova said, like Battlestar, he's just a dickhead in the comics. Like much like U.S. Agent, they're just like anti Captain America. They're anti heroes, not like an actual anti hero, but they're the opposite of what a hero is. And they're just douchebags, really. They're just douchebags, and I really hate them. But I want to see what versions of these characters we're going to get in Falcon and Winter Soldier. So let's just get to where they go to Baltimore and we get the Isaiah name drop. Now, the moment that Bucky said Isaiah, I was like, holy shit, I can't believe that they're actually bringing Isaiah into this, who was Captain America after Steve Rogers went into the ice. So to give you the breakdown of Isaiah's character, like I just said, after Steve went into the ice, the government continued trying to recreate the super soldier serum, and Isaiah was one of 300 black soldiers that were experimented on, and he was the only survivor of the process, and he got the super soldier serum. Now he's not as strong, not as fast as Steve Rogers, but it's a diluted version of the super soldier serum, but it still makes him absolutely incredibly powerful. He heals fast, he can run fast, he has all of the abilities, just not as good as, like, I would say even Bucky or Cap. So he took on that role, and like he mentions, like in the 50s, he goes, I think it's like during the Korean War, he goes across enemy lines, he beats the Winter Soldier, and then when he comes back, he kind of takes on like more of the symbol of Captain America, and this is seen as treason, and he's put into prison.
Holy shit, damn.
Yeah, he was giving a life sentence, but he only served 17 in the comics, but on the show they made it 30. And even while he was in prison, he was still being experimented on because they wanted to continue the super soldier program. So he was being poked and prodded for 30 years within the MCU. So he hasn't had any peace. So that's why he's so pissed off in the episode. His grandson, Elijah, is going to be Patriot, which is another member of the Young Avengers. So that's something that I wanted to bring up from earlier.
Patriot, I know about him from the comics. I know about Patriot from the Young Avengers. So Elijah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so Elijah's the one that answered the door, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was trying to make sure. Oh, Steph, so they're really planting a lot of seeds for the Young Avengers.
Yeah, bro, I absolutely lost it. And when Sam realizes, like, dude, we had essentially a black Captain America, a black super soldier, and you just left him locked up in prison. And when he asks Bucky, like, did Steve know? And it's like, no. Bucky tells him he never told him. He never told anything because Steve had been through enough, and Isaiah had been through enough in his life, so they just left him alone, which I still think is wrong. Bucky should have said something. Obviously, he was under Hydra's thumb this entire time.
Yeah.
But while he had his mind free, I feel like he should have told Steve, and they could have done something for him. This dude is a war hero. Because of him, cells of Hydra were destroyed. He helped out so much after Captain America went into the ice. And then again, how do we reward our soldiers? We don't help them, and because he's black, we're just gonna throw him into this place where we're just gonna experiment on him for the rest of time and brand him as a fucking traitor. And I hate it, bro. And I'm so happy that that's something that they're bringing up in the show.
That too, and also you could see the way they live, the household, the area. He's not taking care of like that household and everything. The government really kind of forgot about him as well because the way like it seems like he's not treated very well.
Yeah, like Nova's bringing up right now, like if you actually read like the actual like real life story of what was happening in World War II, they actually took hundreds of black soldiers to experiment on, well, not experiment, but they were testing gas masks on them, and a lot of them died.
I
This
know.
was a real thing that happened, bro.
I know about the real life stories. Oh, so they use that reference of the story in the comics. Wow.
Hmm. Yeah,
Wow.
and like Abe is saying, like Marvel is not pulling any punches with like the racial stuff. Like I love when Sam gets out on the street and he's really pissed off at what happened with Isaiah, and then the cop just immediately is just like,
Oh,
"Well, angry nigger, so gotta pull out my gun. I need you to calm down, sir." It's like I'm calm. We're just having a fucking conversation. You see me as hostile simply because I'm black.
yep. And and then his partner, the cops, are like, hey, that's the Avenger, Falcon, and that's Bucky and everything.
It doesn't matter.
And
It
then
doesn't
I'm like,
matter who he is. I hated that, man. It pissed me off
and
so
then he
much.
apologized and like, I'm sorry. And I love how Sam did not give a fuck. Sam was mad, and I respect that. The actor did a fantastic job for that because, as he should, that was that like the neighborhood and everything. Like it sucked because everybody was watching, and it just sucked because they didn't question Bucky because like that's Bucky, but they questioned Sam because he's black. Like damn, that is a tough scenario because you're racial profiling right there.
Yeah. It's like just because I'm having an accelerated conversation, I'm instantly dangerous. You instantly have to put your hand on your gun. Like it's bullshit, man. Like it absolutely pissed me off. Like Abe was saying, like if you're not ready to discuss the issues with race that we have in our fucking country right now, then stop watching the show. Stop watching the show. You're not ready to have this conversation. Because and I love that Kevin Feige and the team of writers, the showrunners, they're not straying away from these stories, bro. Because this shit is relevant. We just had two white domestic terrorists murder people, and they're alive. They're in prison right now, and they're perfectly fine. If they were black, they would have been gunned down in the streets without question. If they were a minority, they would have been gunned down in the streets, no question, bro. And I love that the Marvel Studios is not straying away from that shit. I love it so much,
Props
and
for that.
like Nova's saying, like Anthony Mackie is doing such a good job with these emotional beats, and so is Sebastian Stan. Like the acting on this show is top notch, just like WandaVision. Like these actors are putting so much into the show, and I love it, man. Like I know I'm rambling a lot about this scene, but it just hit me so hard, like instantly. I jumped out of my chair as soon as I saw the cops. I'm like, they're gonna fuck with Sam. They're gonna fuck with Sam. All they see is another angry black dude, and it's gonna be a problem. It's like, oh, he's Falcon. This nigger's okay because it's Falcon. No, it doesn't matter who he is. He's not doing anything. They're just having a conversation.
And it sucks
God, it pissed
that
me off so much, bro.
no, we just totally respect it because I saw that and I'm like, and that one of those cops were black too because there's two cop cars and the other cop car did not pop out, but like not one black cop was there. Like, and I wish there was a black cop there because they could have said something like, "Why are you racial profiling this person here? Why are you doing that?"
Yeah, and I love that Bucky stood up for him. It's like, do you know who this is? Do you know who this is?
Yep.
Without him, he contributed to saving the entire world. And again, like it doesn't matter who he is. Like you can't just see a minority and it's like, oh, dangerous. I'm so glad that they're focusing on stuff like this and not shying away from it because this stuff is really important. And like you already brought up, Vash, like we have to get into the conversation of how America would even accept a black Captain America as the symbol of hope, as a new symbol for America itself. Like I love that they're bringing in these conversations. So let's get into the ending scene where Bucky gets arrested for missing therapy and John Walker comes to bail them out, and we get that sequence between the therapist and Bucky and Sam, and that's such a powerful moment because you get to see Bucky really air out his grievances with Sam because again, like we talked about it before, Cap trusted you with the shield. He trusted you with his entire legacy. And yes, I get that you think you were doing the right thing, but you knew that that's not what Cap wanted. If he wanted the government to have the shield, he would have given it to the government. He gave it to you, bro. What did you think?
Like I said it much earlier, like 10, 12 minutes ago, it is a tough scene. Bucky felt like if Sam could just drop the shield like it's nothing and Steve believe in him, that means that what Steve believed in Bucky himself could be dropped as easy as Sam dropped the shield. And that's something that he doesn't believe in because Bucky believes that he has done a lot of sins, which is understandable. You is not you. You're controlled. That's not who you are. But he cannot let that go because he's, a lot of PTSD, a lot of drama. You've gone through war in your head multiple times. You have lived 106 years, but he's very scared to know that if Sam could drop the shield so easily and so fast, and if what Steve said to believe in Sam, then that means what Steve believed in Bucky could be easily faded away as well. So that's a very tough thing because you just want your friends and family to support you, and if they don't support you, yeah, like you could believe in yourself. That's the most important thing. Always believe in yourself. Us as humans, believe in yourself. But when, for example, when James or Ray or Sam believe in me and what I'm doing with my production, it is great to hear that advice from them. And if they be negative about me, yeah, I must still be supportive on myself. But when my friends are negative towards what I do and what I do for my career, that's gonna bring me down. Because those are my friends. I cherish what they say. I believe in what they say. Because if they believe in me, I believe in myself more. So if Bucky feels like that what Steve said is not true, and Bucky already has some low self-esteem, he doesn't believe in himself already. So if he believes that what Steve said is going downhill, he feels like he will go downhill. And that's a tough thing to feel like, because it feels like you're in like Get Out in the film, where he feels like he's thinking in that mind.
Yeah, man, like I don't know why I'm so surprised that this show is doing is bringing like a lot of real world issues to light, because much like WandaVision, dealing with grief and depression and selfishness and how we handle things that are tough in our lives, I don't know why I'm so surprised that the Falcon and Winter Soldier is doing the same thing. Like, these are two people that looked up to Captain America and saw him as a symbol to look up to, and they're both trying to find their ways to live up to Steve's expectations, which in their minds are really, really high, man. And I love to see Sam and Bucky doing this. This is something that will bring them closer together. And I really, really like that. As episodes go on, as they work closer together, they'll be able to help each other with their traumas. They'll be able to help each other with realizing, hey, together, if we work together, we can strive to be the symbols that Steve wants us to be. We can honor his name by working together. And I love it.
And I hope we see that. I hope we see the whole therapist back, because I want the chemistry of the therapist. Because my first scene is when she said, all right, guys, stare at your guys' souls, stare at your guys' eyes. And then she said, come closer, come closer. And then they were like, we can't come any closer. So they're like, you know what? All right. So they squeeze our legs in right there like a sandwich. I was like, he's like, all right. And then they start to have a whole staring contest. And then she acts like, are you guys dead ass having a staring contest? I just actually guys just look at each other. And she's like, guys, come on, guys. I'm here to have a conversation. That was just so cute and adorable, and it's real life problems. Real humans go through that, and people that go through war go through that as well. So I hope we get that. Like, hopefully we see that conversation of them two with her in episode 6 at the end, at the last 10 minutes. They'll go see her. It's just like, yo, we're still having fucking problems, but I just love this guy. I try to smack this dude, but I still love him. Like, I just hope we get that.
Yeah. So there's a scene in the trailer, right, where Sam is training with the shield. Yeah. I actually think that's like the final scene of the very last episode of the first season.
That's gonna be so far away.
I think that's the very last scene. Especially like when they daps each other. Like, I think that's the very last scene. I think that's where it goes black, and that's the final moment of the series.
Let's see. Episode 3, 4, 5, 6. Episode 6 is supposed to end on 23rd of April. Damn. That's so
Yeah.
far. That's
Yeah,
so
and Nova,
far.
their chemistry is just so good. Like you can tell, like they've worked together for a while. You can tell that they've actually spent time like fleshing out these characters. And of course, like if you've ever watched like any of like the Avengers press tours or anything, they're always riffing off of each other.
They are.
They have the really great friendship. It's real. So I love that they were able to bring that into the show, and it's really cool. Like listening to them talk about like finding out about the show, like they had no idea what they were like, what the next project was going to be, and then they kind of just ran into each other at the exact same hotel, and I was like, wait, I think we're here for the same thing. And it was really cool to listen to them talk about it, man. And again, their chemistry is amazing on screen. It's very like modern Lethal Weapon when I think about it.
Huh.
Like Bucky reminds me a lot of Mel Gibson's character that's just very broken and has a lot of baggage, but he needs Sam to help him work through those issues. He just doesn't even know it yet. You know what I mean? So I
And
really love the show. Go ahead.
well, I was gonna say that I can't wait to see our boy Don Cheadle back as well, because like James mentioned as well, when Don Cheadle's with them in press and tour, when it's Sam and with Sebastian, their chemistry is so interesting behind the scene, like on the press and everything. Like, they riff off each other, the comedy and everything. And with Don Cheadle on screen, when we saw in episode 1, can't wait to hopefully they come back, because Don Cheadle would tell Sam the same thing, like, why give up the shield? Like, this whole other white guy has it. You could have been the new symbol and everything. Like, I hope we get that type of line from Don Cheadle as Rhodey. Like, that would be beautiful and very impactful. So I hope we get that. Can't wait to see that.
You know, Nova, I can see that too now that you mention it. Like very like Tommy Lee Jones, Will Smith, MIB vibes. Like that's also like they're doing a really good job with just like the buddy cop thing in general. Like it just works so well with these two. Like yeah, like the jokes don't seem forced. Like it actually feels real. Like I don't feel like I'm watching Sam and Bucky. I feel like I'm just watching Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan. Like it's so good, man. Like I want to see how Zemo is going to play into the rest of this series, because he's going to be a villain, but he's obviously not the main villain of this series. So it's like, do they let him out somehow to like have him help them with a mission, and then they just can't get him back into prison? Like
he has to, because we know in the trailer he's out with the purple mask and everything, so we know he escapes, or maybe he is on he's on parole. Like, hey, we need to come with us because you'll be a good.
I highly doubt he would be on parole. He tried to murder the Avengers. I highly doubt that's a thing.
Well, I think it's because like we need, well, you know, the blip and everything. Like, hey, we need you to come with us because you're gonna help us to catch these flag smashers. You know about the super soldier. You work for Hydra, so like maybe in that type of scenario, like you're on parole in that type of scenario, like we need you to step out with us, but you're gonna come back to prison. And then once they do this, hey, bye guys, I'm deuces, I'm leaving. I'm not gonna go back to prison. So it could go in that route too.
So Nova, I think he's in Germany. I think so. I think it would make sense for him to be in Sokovia. But where did he got arrested in Germany? So it would make sense to me that the German government would take him and arrest him since he committed crimes in Germany. I could be wrong. I don't know how that kind of stuff works with like extradition and stuff like that, but I think he's in Germany. That would be my guess. But I can't wait to see like how he's gonna get out of prison. Like, does Sam and Bucky get him out to temporarily do something, and then he escapes from their custody, and then the government blames Sam and Bucky for letting a terrorist out of prison? I don't know. We'll see.
And yes, Sam, Zemo in the comics, they have the whole super soldier serum in the comics. That's why he had a obsession with Captain America. That's why he always was against Captain America in the comics. But in the movie or in the MCU verse, he doesn't have it currently. He could get it at the end of the show, during the show. We don't know. But it's possible.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a way to come out to. And I can't wait to see Bucky and Sam's interaction with Zemo next episode, because I can't wait to see. Most likely Bucky's gonna stare at him for a while, then Sam is gonna try to break the ice and then say, hey, we came here, you need to talk. So I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see kind of the whole chemistry evolve.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that evolve as well. Like, I can't wait to see how they interact with Zemo, how that's gonna go. I personally don't know if I want him to get
Ooh.
the super soldier serum, if I'm being perfectly honest. Like, I kind of like that Zemo. I kind of like his motivations the way that it is in the MCU. I don't
And
want
plus, there's more
him
brain.
because in the comics, yeah, in the comics, like his origins are tied like so much to Captain America, and in the MCU, his motivations don't have anything to do with Captain America. So I don't know. It would be interesting if he gets it from like the Power Broker or like his interaction with the Flag Smashers. I don't know. It would be cool, but I don't if I necessarily care.
Also, Sam brought up about the text message. I'm not sure about what to the
Yeah, that's
girl.
right. That's right.
So the girl, there's a flag smasher. I forgot what was her name for the role, but she got a text
Carly,
message.
I think.
Maybe it could be Carly. She got a text message saying that you stole my stuff. I'm gonna go kill you. So I'm like, yeah, that's not such bad guy type of line. So I'm like, who's gonna come kill her? So I'm like, that's gonna be very interesting, very intriguing to know how's that gonna go. So it's very intriguing how like how so we have
Yeah, it's
flag
Carly.
smashers, we have Zemo, and then we have whoever's targeting Carly. So we have currently three
Yeah,
possible
I
villains.
think the text message came from the Power Broker. Whoever the
Power
Power
Broker
Broker
too.
is, I think the text message came from them. I don't know. Could be wrong, but we'll find out. Um, this episode was amazing, man. Like I said at the very beginning, I feel like this episode was an emotional roller coaster. I had so much fun watching this episode. This episode made me sad in some moments. This episode made me super angry, as you guys can tell from my mini rant. Like
It's
it made me
normal.
really upset in certain moments. So it just shows like how great this show is written. And yeah, like Sam is saying, like I can't wait to see like what other knowledge from Hydra that Zemo has that they need. So I'm very curious to see where the rest of this series is going to go. And I wish it was 9 episodes instead of 6, but it is what it is. The episodes are longer, so they kind of are compensating for only having 6 episodes, so it is what it is. But Vash, let me get your final thoughts on the Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 2 before we head out for the night.
James, you said it perfectly. Like it's understandable of the way Sam felt, the way that his racial profile, Spanish and blacks over the years, over the centuries have gotten racial profile, and Asians too recently within the current news in our reality. Like any cultures right now can get racial profile in any way, but to see it on screen and done well, beautifully impacted, done well, and I love how the MCU Marvel doesn't shade away from that. It's very beautiful of how the chemistry between Bucky and Sam, of Sebastian, and how they're done, and I can't wait to see it evolve with the next 4 episodes. Can't wait to see that Zemo, the whole connection with the storyline and how the Flag Smashers and everything. So I'm very excited for this show. Can't wait to see the new suits and the whole armor and everything. Are we gonna see any characters from Wakanda? Like I'm curious to know how is this story gonna evolve, continue going on for the next 4 episodes. I've been enjoying it very much. I was very underwhelmed with the hypeness, but the way it's written, the way it's directed, and the way the story is being told, it makes me excited for each episode to air week to week. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen in episode 3.
Yeah, man, I'll just echo that. Like, this show is incredible. These first 2 episodes have impacted me so much. Like, just like 80 minutes of one TV show has already done so much for me. And I can't wait to see where it goes. Like, this is the type of thing where I don't necessarily want to theory craft because I just want to watch it play out. As a comic book fan, man, like, this is such a good series in just these 2 episodes is already like so on par with WandaVision, which is one of the things in the MCU that I think is like one of the best written things that they have. And this is going right up there with WandaVision. And it's only been 2 episodes and I absolutely love it. But this was so much fun, guys. I cannot wait for next week's episode so that we can talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 3, to talk about Invincible episode 4, Flash, Superman, and Lois. We have so much great content coming for you guys. Actually,
Thank you.
next week, April 2nd, is my birthday. So we're actually going to be spending most of the show just talking about full spoilers for the Snyder Cut and Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I'm not sure how much Invincible reviews we might do. Like, I think we might do like a double the following week. Vash and I can talk about that off air. But yeah, next week is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be my birthday stream. I would love for all of you guys to come through because we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be drinking on stream and talking with the Popaholics crew and doing a deep dive of the Snyder Cut of Justice League. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I want to thank everyone that was in chat today. So Chief, Abe, Nova, Sam, Steve, Rob, John, thank all of you guys for being here on the show tonight. I know we're going on 3 hours right now. We had a great show. Vash, I love doing this show with you, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Same here as always, guys. Thank you guys for the support. John, for everyone here, Nova, Chief, Abe, and everyone that shows up here in the chat, and for anybody that don't comment as well while we're live, thank you for you as well, because for you to be watching and don't comment as well, you're important too and you matter. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you as well. If you haven't yet subscribed, go subscribe to YouTube channel, pod channel as well. Support us, like, subscribe, leave a comment on the podcast side or on the YouTube side. Give us your thoughts about each show, and don't forget, if you're watching this off the stream as well, all the descriptions down below for each of the segment of the review show. And can't wait to talk about the full segment of spoilers for the Zack Snyder version of his vision of Justice League, because it's going to be an interesting conversation, and I can't wait to find out what Chris or Christian says, because they was confusing me in that group chat, and I can't wait to see which thumbnail Jim's going to be using, because guys, if he uses the thumbnail that we actually spoke in the group chat, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting. That's all I'm going to say. And follow me at Legendary Vash everywhere else. And can't wait for you guys to tune in on Sunday for the My Hero chapter that we're going to be discussing every week to week on Sunday for My Hero.
Oh yeah, you guys can follow me at JB Exclusive, and of course at C4 Spoilers on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Join the C4S Discord. I'm gonna try to be using that a lot more. I really want to get to know you guys a lot better, and Discord will give us our own little pocket where we can do that, where we can talk about movie news, anime, comics, whatever you guys want to talk about. So the Discord link is going to be in the description below. Like Vash said, subscribe to the channel. Share it with your friends if you guys really like the show, like the video. It will help us rise in the rankings. And we're trying to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the Loki series. That's my goal. I would love to have 500 subscribers by the time Loki ends. So
we're going to be past that. I bet you by the end of Loki series, we're going to be almost at a K. I bet you 1K. I bet you.
Man, that would be a dream come true. But I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy for the people that show up here for every single show. So I really, really appreciate you guys being here. And we will see you guys on the next one.